election. Ladies and gentlemen, you know him as a veteran Conservative MP, a former federal cabinet minister, one of the hardest working Conservative activists in this country for the past 20 years, and now we know him as the MLA for Calgary-Lougheed, the leader of Alberta's official opposition, the leader of the United Conservative Party, the Honourable Jason Kenney.
Well, thank you, fellow Conservatives. Look at the energy in this room. I can feel it, and I can tell you, Kathleen Wynne's Liberals can feel it, because I am looking at the next government of Ontario. So I just want to start with one question for you, friends. Are you ready to work hard? Are you ready to unite? And are you ready to defeat this tax-hiking, job-killing, debt-doubling, corrupt Liberal government? So awesome, friends. I am here to convey a simple message to you. Canada needs Ontario. For Canada to be strong, Ontario must be strong. Our country can only be truly prosperous if Ontario is prosperous. Ontario has always played a special role as the older brother of Confederation, or as Justin Trudeau would say, the gender-neutral sibling of Confederation. And Ontario has always been the industrial heartland of our country. But over the past 16 years, the Liberals have been presiding over the gradual deindustrialization of Ontario's once dynamic economy. Relentless tax increases on everything, a quadrupling of hydro rates, a cap-and-trade scheme that has you sending hundreds of millions of hard-earned dollars to California and places around the world. Spectacular waste of tens of billions of your tax dollars, all leading to a $311 billion debt, the largest subnational debt in North America, a government that has been mortgaging your future deliberately. And add to all of this, years of corruption and insider dealing, and it's no wonder that you have the least popular premier in Canada and in Ontario history. Now, to top it all off, your Liberal government seems to be in a competition with Alberta's NDP to see who can be the greatest enabler of Prime Minister dress-ups, fumbling, tax-raising, debt-hiking Ottawa government. So, friends, let me be blunt. We need you. All Canadians need you to turn this province around. But let's be honest. There's no point in sugarcoating this. You've been through a very tough couple of months. Perhaps the toughest time in the history of the Progressive Conservative Party of Ontario. You've gone through weeks of anxiety and adversity, but I am certain that you will overcome this time of trial, and that this afternoon, with the election of your leader, you will emerge stronger, united, and victorious in the election just weeks away. And I say this for three reasons. First of all, Ontarians are desperate for a common-sense alternative to the Wynne Liberals. Secondly, you're ready. And thirdly, because we've come through tougher challenges before. Now, I don't need to make the case against the Ontario Liberals in this crowd, so let me focus on your readiness and how history is on your side. First of all, you have a phenomenal, diverse, talented, principled team of candidates ready to be the next government of Ontario. And yours is a party that reflects the diversity of today's Ontario. Let me pause there to say how important this is, because this is something on which I worked for so many years in our national party. But it is essential that if you are to regain the trust of Ontarians and get this province back on track, that it must be a party that reflects not just the diversity, but the values of new Canadians who made the entrepreneurial choice to become Canadians, to become Ontarians. There are no Canadians more naturally, intuitively conservative in their values and their aspirations and the way they live their lives than those who have come here from around the world to pursue economic freedom and opportunity, so many of them having left behind corrupt, statist, and dysfunctional economies, and have come to Canada seeking the freedom of a country where hard work can translate into success, an opportunity society. Families who come here who understand that the basic institution of society is not an overbearing bureaucratic state, but the family itself and resilient individuals. Those are the values of new Canadians. Those are conservative values. Here we are, weeks from the next election, and you are prepared financially, and in fact, I'm told that your fundraising has actually increased in recent weeks, showing growing confidence in this cause. And you have common sense policies focused on reigniting Ontario's economy to create a prosperous opportunity society for all. And let me just pause for a moment, as an Albertan, to say how happy I am that all four of your dynamic leadership candidates are going to join, which one of them is the next Premier of Ontario, will join with me in fighting Justin Trudeau's carbon tax. Thank you. And just to pause to say, this tax is, punishing consumers is not an environmental strategy. Making widows turn down the heat at home when it's 25 below outside doesn't make the environment better. This is all economic pain and no environmental gain. So you're on the right track. And building on the strong work of your courageous interim leader, my friend Vic Fideli and his team, give him a hand. I know that Vic and his team have had to make some tough decisions that not everybody agreed with in recent weeks, but that was the burden of leadership that fell to him. And I want to say, Vic, on behalf of Conservatives from coast to coast, thank you for stepping up to the plate and making these recent changes to prepare this party for its next leader and for victory in the next election. And finally, friends, history is on your side. Because while you've been through a few tough weeks, let me tell you, we've been through a few tough years in Alberta with an accidental socialist government that was elected because Conservatives were divided. And this is the most important message I leave you with here today. When Conservatives are divided, tax raisers and parties of the left always win. But when Conservatives are united, we can bring common sense policies to government. That is an absolute truism of Canadian political history. Let's not forget, it wasn't long ago that we were divided at the federal level, fighting amongst ourselves, giving the Liberals automatic access to the keys of power. But it took strong leadership and the support of the grassroots to overcome that division, to put our country ahead of any political party, as Peter MacKay and Stephen Harper and all of us did in uniting the new Conservative Party of Canada that gave good government to Canada for a decade. And Let me tell you a brief story about our experience in Alberta. 20 months ago, I decided to leave my seat in Parliament after nearly 2 decades because we were hopelessly divided. We were in a situation where we might have given a second term back to a destructive socialist government that drove Alberta into its deepest and longest recession since the Great Depression of the 1930s. A government that is quadrupling Alberta's debt, that has caused tens of billions of dollars of investment to flee, that has moved Alberta from the job creation engine of Canada into the highest unemployment outside of the East Coast. A government that has done fundamental damage to opportunity and prosperity in my home province. And I wasn't prepared to sit back and watch the consequences of a second NDP term as they changed the structure of our economy and changed Alberta's political culture. And so we challenged 2 political parties to put the province ahead of any partisan interest and to put aside their individual differences and to unite. Our campaign was called Unite Alberta. We had to go through, in fact, 4 campaigns to do it last year. But I am pleased to report to you that the result is that the United Conservative Party of Alberta is now the most popular political party in Canada. And now, with that sign of hope, of overcoming adversity and disunity, I encourage you, my fellow Ontario Conservatives, to unite Ontario. This country is counting on you. You cannot get this wrong. 16 years of government that has done damage to your economy. It cannot carry on. This has been the heart of Canada's economy since the beginning of Confederation. You've lost in recent elections. You've learned from those mistakes. You have a dynamic and diverse team. You have common sense policies. You're on the side of the taxpayers. You've got the organization in place. And now all that is left is your answer to what happens on this stage this afternoon. And so I am here to ask that whoever is chosen by the members, that all of you as progressive Conservatives support the democratic choice of your membership. Let's be clear. Kathleen Wynne is at home watching this, hoping for one result on this stage this afternoon: disunity. And many of you will have voted for candidates who are not successful this afternoon. But as I say, Ontario's future depends on respecting the democratic choice of the members and coming together as a team. Are you ready to come together as a united team? Will you support the leader elected today? Can Canada count on you to get Ontario back on track? Then, friends, as we say in Alberta, get out there and get her done. God bless you. God bless Ontario.